Have you ever wondered how the Indian Constitution, the longest written constitution in the world, came into existence? Well, its genesis lies in the formation of the Indian Constitution Assembly, a journey filled with determination, unity, and the desire for independence. The seed for the Indian Constitution Assembly was sown in 1934. It was then that the Indian National Congress, a pivotal force in the Indian freedom struggle, first demanded a Constituent Assembly. The goal? To draft a constitution for India, a constitution that would guide the nation towards a future of freedom and justice. However, it wasn't until 6 years later, in 1940, that the British government acknowledged this demand. The acceptance came as part of the August Offer, a proposal put forward by the British government during the Second World War. This proposal aimed to secure India's cooperation in the war effort in exchange for the promise of dominion status after the war. The road to the formation of the Constituent Assembly, however, was not a straight one. It was filled with negotiations, disagreements, and crucial decisions. But finally, in 1946, the Constituent Assembly was formed, a body comprising 299 members representing the diverse cultures, religions, and regions of India. This assembly was tasked with one monumental responsibility: to draft the constitution of a free and independent India. This formation marked a significant milestone in India's journey towards independence. It signified the nation's determination to shape its destiny, to lay the foundations of a democratic society, and to ensure justice, equality, and freedom for all its citizens. So, the next time you think of the Indian Constitution, remember its genesis. Remember the Indian Constitution Assembly, the body that worked tirelessly to draft a constitution that would serve as the blueprint for the largest democracy in the world. This marked the beginning of a historic journey, the creation of the Indian Constitution, a journey that we'll continue to explore in the next scenes. So who were the people tasked with this monumental responsibility of drafting the Indian Constitution, you might ask? Let's delve into the composition and structure of the Constituent Assembly to get a clearer picture. The Constituent Assembly was a mosaic of India's diversity, a microcosm of the country's wide-ranging political, social, and cultural landscape. It comprised 299 members, elected by the provincial assemblies, who brought with them a wealth of experience and knowledge from various walks of life. This assembly wasn't a one-party show. It was a multi-party representation, a fact that lent it a vibrant democratic spirit. The Congress Party had a majority, but there were members from other parties as well, including the Muslim League, the Sikh community, and the Scheduled Castes Federation, among others. Such a varied composition ensured that every section of society had a voice and a say in the drafting of the Constitution. The Assembly's members included lawyers, educators, freedom fighters, and more, all of whom were united by a shared vision: to draft a constitution that was just, equitable, and inclusive. Now every ship needs a captain, and the Constituent Assembly was no different. On December 17, 1946, the members elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the president of the Assembly. Dr. Prasad was a freedom fighter, a lawyer, and a respected leader. Under his leadership, the Assembly navigated through complex debates and discussions, always striving to reach a consensus. The Constituent Assembly was not just a legislative body. It was a deliberative body. The members didn't merely vote, they discussed, they debated, they disagreed, and they negotiated. It was through this process of dialogue and deliberation that the Constitution was shaped, reflecting the collective wisdom of the Assembly. The composition and structure of the Constituent Assembly were instrumental in shaping the Constitution of India. It was a body that represented the diversity of India, a body that was democratic in spirit and deliberative in practice. With a diverse and representative body, the Constituent Assembly was ready to undertake its historic duty. Now that we know who were behind the scenes, let's delve into the process of crafting the Indian Constitution. The creation of the Indian Constitution is a fascinating journey that began with the appointment of various committees. Each committee had a specific role to play, focusing on distinct aspects of the Constitution. For instance, there was the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities, and Tribal and Excluded Areas, the Committee on the Union Constitution, and the Committee on the Provincial Constitution, among others. The drafting of the Constitution, however, was primarily the work of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee. Known as the architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, along with the 6 other members of his committee, worked tirelessly, drafting the document that would become the foundation of the world's largest democracy. What was it like, you might wonder, to draft a document of such importance? The process was painstakingly meticulous. The drafting committee went through 2 drafts before presenting the final one to the Constituent Assembly. In all, the Assembly had 11 sessions over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. But the making of the Constitution was not just about drafting. It was also about discussion and debate. Members of the Constituent Assembly engaged in extensive debates, each contributing their insights and perspectives to shape the document. These debates are an invaluable record of the thought processes that went into the making of the Constitution. Different viewpoints clashed, compromises were made, and consensus was reached. Each clause was scrutinized, each word weighed carefully. The debates were characterized by a spirit of cooperation and mutual respect, despite differences in opinion. This was a reflection of the democratic ideals that the Constitution was to uphold. Moreover, the Constitution was not just an abstract legal document, but a reflection of the aspirations of the people. It was designed to ensure justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. It aimed to uphold the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In the end, the Constitution was not the work of any single individual or committee. It was a collective effort, a product of the wisdom, vision, and hard work of many. It was a testament to the spirit of democracy and the shared dreams of a nation. The making of the Indian Constitution was not an easy task, but it was one that was undertaken with dedication and commitment. It was a process marked by intense deliberation, rigorous debate, and meticulous drafting. And after much deliberation and revision, the Constitution was finally ready for adoption. So, after countless hours of work, many drafts and revisions, and numerous debates, the Constitution of India was finally ready. It was a document that was born out of the collective wisdom of the nation, a testament to the democratic spirit of the Indian people. After much deliberation and revision, the Constitution was finally ready for adoption. The Constitution, a document embodying the hopes and aspirations of a newly independent nation, was ready. But what came next? The significant next step was the adoption of the Constitution. This momentous event took place on a day etched in the annals of Indian history, the 26th of November, 1949. The Indian Constitution Assembly, a body of learned and passionate individuals, gave their assent to the document that was set to be the guiding light of the nation. But why the 26th of November? This date was chosen with great deliberation. It was on this day, back in 1930, that the Indian National Congress, the driving force behind the country's struggle for independence, had declared Purna Swaraj, or complete self-rule. This day hence carried immense symbolic value, and it was fitting that the Constitution was adopted on this very day, marking the culmination of the country's long-drawn struggle for self-governance. However, the Constitution did not come into immediate effect post-adoption. It was officially implemented a couple of months later on the 26th of January, 1950. Again, this date was not chosen at random. The 26th of January was the day the Indian National Congress had observed as the Independence Day in 1930, a whole 17 years before India actually gained independence. By implementing the Constitution on this day, India was not just embracing its new democratic framework, but also commemorating its first unofficial declaration of independence. So what does all of this mean? It implies that the adoption and implementation of the Constitution were not just administrative processes. They were symbolic gestures, rich in historical context and significance, underlining the nation's transition from a colonial rule to a democratic republic, and thus the Indian Constitution, a testament to the vision and foresight of its architects, came into being. The document that encapsulated the hopes and dreams of millions and continues to guide the largest democracy in the world was finally ready to serve its purpose. A new chapter in the history of independent India had begun. In just a span of a few years, a diverse and representative body of individuals came together to draft a constitution for a newly independent nation. It's remarkable how the Constituent Assembly, formed through a complex process, became a microcosm of India's diversity, reflecting its vast array of cultures, beliefs, and ideals. The Assembly's composition was a testament to the democratic spirit that would underpin the nation's future. The drafting of the Constitution was a monumental task filled with rigorous debates, discussions, and revisions. Despite the complexity and challenges, the Assembly's members remained committed to creating a constitution that would uphold justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. The adoption of the Constitution marked a significant milestone, setting the foundation for the world's largest democracy. It was a testament to the power of consensus and the resilience of the Indian people. This journey, marked by debate, dialogue, and consensus, resulted in the creation of the Indian Constitution, a living document that continues to guide the world's largest democracy.